more than ever, our audiences are looking for that authentic communication experience with us, that real connection with us. And this is whether, this can be workshops, keynotes, networking, social occasions, speaking to teams, anywhere where you're in that spotlight moment where you're delivering a talk or some content. So hi, I'm Kim from Kim Taylor Ultimate Speaker, bringing you Momentum Monday on this glorious spring day, and bringing you some more speaking skills and help and strategies around how to improve your public speaking. And what I'd love to do is deep dive into how you can create more of an authentic connection with your audience and some key things to remember that you need to do around this. But before we deep dive into that, what I'd love to ask you is, whereabouts are you currently? So if I was to ask you, put you in the spotlight right now and say, can you deliver a talk? How would you feel? And I'm wondering, would it make any difference if it was to a group of, a small group of friends, to 1,000 people in an auditorium who are complete strangers? Would it make any difference to how you feel? Now, as you're feeling into this and as you're thinking about it, think about, your heart's going to be racing because it's something new, you're put on the spot, you need to speak. What's happening for you? Is your heart racing out of excitement, or is it nervousness or anticipation? What's happening for you? And when it comes to, maybe I put the microphone into your hand and say to you, like, okay, how do you feel? You've got to come up with your opening line, say the first few words. Have you got that nailed? Have you got that in your head already? Or are you stumbling to find your words? So where are you with that? Just feel into that for a moment, because this is a key thing for where we're heading in a moment. And the thing is, a lot of people feel there's a hurdle with public speaking. There's a hurdle with speaking and being in the public eye, being in the spotlight. A lot of people have a challenge around this. And public speaking, being a top speaker, isn't necessarily about being in the limelight of a key, let's think, standing up in front of a room and delivering to a massive auditorium, or being a professor at a university, or being a high-level senior management. Top speaking or getting that, standing ovation. It can be those things, but it's not necessarily that. It's actually around ensuring and mastering the skill around being, just developing your self-confidence. It's if you're in business, it's about enhancing your reputation. It's about being compelling in your realm of what you do. It's about creating opportunities so that you can get out there, step out into the limelight and be your natural self. So, and if you want to, if you want to compel others, if you want to captivate the audience that you're speaking to, if you're really wanting to create a shift in people's minds, if you're wanting to improve rapport and the connection when you're out there networking, or if you're doing a keynote and you're wanting to do a really great connection with that room, and if you're wanting to move your business forward with that clarity, if you're wanting to do even in a social situation where you're asked to do a speech for a friend's wedding, how special is that? Or even a charity work where you're a volunteer for a charity, perhaps you're raising funds or awareness for a particular charity. All of those things, those are the reasons for stepping into developing your public speaking skills. It's not just the standing ovation or the being a top professor, or like the things I mentioned before. It is, in fact, wherever you step into those spotlight moments. And if you're feeling like you're a little bit stuck around this, if you can relate to this on some level and you're feeling a little bit stuck around it, then listen up, because the first thing that I'm going to share with you around creating that authentic connection with your audience is that it's about you. You're making it about you. We're creating this within ourselves, and that was probably one of my biggest awarenesses, is that I was creating it when the fears used to come up for me, and time again it comes up when I'm speaking with clients. When we're making it about ourselves, we're getting in the way of ourselves. This is why we can feel stuck. This is why, that fear, that, instead of being excitement, it is fear. The thing is, this is all learned behavior. This is the gold, because we have learned it, we can unlearn all of this. We can unravel all of that stuff that we've been piling on top of ourselves. It's usually formed from when we were young, that 0 to 7 imprint period, which you've heard me speak on before. It's compounded. It's called the Gestalt theory. We keep finding evidence to support. And so there's a couple of key things that we can do to start reversing and unravel that really tangled up ball of wool, so that it becomes something that we can knit into a beautiful, beautiful pullover. And the one thing that we need to do is, and just feel into this, you might have heard this stuff before, but feel into it and think from it from a different perspective. But the very, very first thing is to come back to our breathing. Now, the science, you might be thinking, but I do breathing, I do breathing exercises, or, I've done breathing exercises in the past. I'm going to ask you to pause and just think again. What happens when we are deep breathing as opposed to just showing up anything breathing? And I almost guarantee that if I was to ask you where your breathing is now, most of you, especially if I asked you, here we go, I'm giving you the microphone, here, it's your turn to speak, where would your breathing be? Guaranteed it's probably somewhere up here, because that's the first thing that goes out the door when we get into stressful, nervous situations. And so what we can do is deep breathe. And this is in my Brave Speaker Toolkit. And it's such a key element. And I'm happy to share this with you if you'd like to know how to do this more. But I'll share more on that in a moment. So it'll give you an even better avenue to follow. So what happens is we need to deep breathe. And when we're deep breathing, what we're doing is essentially is bringing the blood to the front of the frontal lobe, which is the thinking part of our brain. We're calming down the body, we're relaxing the body, we're able to think on our feet. So when that microphone is handed to us, we already know what we're going to say, or we're able to think of what we want to say when we're put on that spot. So breathing's such a key thing. Now, the other key thing, which I haven't talked a lot about before, but it's such an essential thing, is being aware of your thoughts. Now, what do I mean by that? Being aware of your thoughts means, what are your thoughts around public speaking? Do you go into the, oh my God, here we go again, that horror, there my heart's pounding, I don't know, am I going to remember what I'm going to say? Am I going to forget? Am I going to be, what are people going to be thinking? Am I going to sound interesting enough? If you're having thoughts like that, again, I'm going to ask you to pause and change your thoughts, because what happens is quantum physics, and if you want to learn more around this, go and check out Gaia, G-A-I-A, and also Dr. Joe Dispenza. They really cover this topic beautifully. It's around neuroscience and it's quantum physics, and all of it's been really proven that our body is like our unconscious mind, and it's learned behavior. We've learned all of these things. So we've created these not so great anchors within our body. And of course, we keep recreating with evidence and finding the evidence for those yucky feelings to come up. So the key thing here is you change your thoughts to something positive. So if you're thinking, oh, here we go, I'm not going to be interesting enough, I'm going to forget my words, how can you change it? Even if it's like, okay, you change it to something as simple as, okay, I have done that in the past, but actual fact, I'm going to choose to just do the best job that I possibly can. I'm going to feel as confident as I can. I'm going to give the best value that I possibly can for this group. So you're reframing it, you're turning it into something really positive and resourceful for yourself. But what happens is you're turning it into something positive and resourceful for your audience as well. They'll be feeling that essentially. So those are the couple of really key things. You're deep breathing and changing your thoughts, because neuroscience, quantum physics has proven that when we change our thoughts, we change how we feel. And then we change our reality. And that is the proof of it. That is the absolute proof of it. As I say, go and check out Dr. Joe Dispenza and Gaia, because he goes and they go into it in really, really big time. Greg Braden, all of those amazing people. Dr. Bruce Lipton, I can keep naming them, they're just amazing. So if what I'd love to share with you is that, that's your deep breathing, like I've just said, but there's also something else that I can share with you that will help take your speaking skills to another level. And I run workshops, half-day workshops, 2-hour workshops, and I happen to be running a 2-hour workshop this week in Brisbane on Thursday, and next week on Wednesday on the Sunshine Coast, and I'll pop the links down below so that you can check that out. But what it is, it's about pitching to the board and presenting to your company. It's about having the skills and the strategies to be able to deliver a clear message. And look, if you're relating to what I've just shared with you today in this video, and you'd like to have some more skills around that, you want to master this and take things to another level of being able to just go and do a Facebook Live, be able to stand up and do a webinar, be compelling to, when you're delivering to your team. If you are the CEO of a large company, or you're feeling any kind of nervousness or not feeling as comfortable as you'd like to around this, and you want some more skills and strategy, then come along to the workshop, because this Thursday and also next Wednesday, because it is about giving you the strategy on beautiful strategy on how to think on your feet. There's some other frameworks that I'll be sharing with you as well, as far as getting your message out there, a clear, concise message, being able, when you're put on the spot, just the framework that you can use to be able to deliver that, so you can do the impromptu speaking, wherever those spotlight moments are for you that you need to speak. And the other thing I'll be doing is deep diving into the Brave Speaker Toolkit, which is what I mentioned earlier. So we'll go into all of the things that you need to do in order to help you feel prepared. And even if you are the most confident speaker in the world, there's still the preparation around how you come up, because it's about looking after your voice. It's about how you prepare yourself so you can be the best version of yourself as you go out and speak to the people that you are presenting to, wherever, as I say, wherever those spotlight moments are for you. And so it's also about, we need to be able to deliver a clear, concise message. So if you're relating, if you feel like this is something that would be valuable, click on the link below and let's come along to the workshop. I know you're going to absolutely love it. You are going to get absolute value from this. And this is what we're going to deep dive into. All right, so this has been fun as always. Private message me if you've got any questions, and click on the link, come along to the workshop, and I'll look forward to seeing you there. Okay, enjoy this day. Bye now.